And right now we're seeing a chilling effect on what is happening to independent journalism, as I have with us today Andy Signore, who is actually being subpoenaed by Blake Lively, despite the fact that he should have protections from the Constitution that allow him to be an independent journalist. But from everything that I'm seeing, from everything that's written here in this press release, everything that was written on all of the articles, what we're seeing right now is YouTube is no longer considered, in this case, a form of independent journalism.
You said it right, Brett, and thanks for having me back. I appreciate it because, yeah, look, it's this is bigger than me. It's bigger than Popcorn Planet. I'm literally going anywhere that'll have me to spread the word, because this really speaks to all of us, because digital and independent journalism like really just took a hit. And you know, some people are reading the order, some people even I respect reading the order, they're misreading and understanding it, because this judge, in my opinion, and we will explain more here in our appeal, this judge just took archaic definitions of journalism. She got so distracted by just too many little unnecessary details and of like formatting issues, of privileges logs that I should have never had to fill in as a non-party. And so it is a chilling effect to think, as a journalist, reporter, news agency online, if your platform is YouTube, a celebrity can literally just make, okay, you're subpoenaed, give me all your private correspondence on any of these keywords, and anybody else I'm suing or going through, I get to have all your correspondence about it.
Yeah, one of
then you challenge it and they're like, no, sorry, you're little more than a YouTube channel is what I was defined as.
So what I've noticed is technology has made it very difficult for the law to catch up with these types of things. The same thing has been going on for the Second Amendment crowd for a very long time, as people have pushed back on gun rights, saying that no, it's just muskets, and it's like, no, the law is the law when it comes to these things. But basically, let's go through this press release right now. I want to listen to what you said. So it says, Judge Lindsay S. Griffin ruled that Signore, despite hosting a daily investigative news platform with nearly 1 million subscribers, does not qualify as a journalist under Florida's reporter's privilege statute. As a result, he has been ordered to turn over private communications with sources related to the high-profile Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni legal case, communications shared in confidence by whistleblowers fearing retaliation in Hollywood. Quote, this ruling is a chilling attack on journalism, as Signore said. It suggests that unless you are that you work for a newspaper or a legacy media corporation, you have no right to protect your sources. This is not only wrong, it endangers every whistleblower, content creator, podcaster, and independent reporter working today. So right now, what do you believe, beyond just intimidation tactics, what is the purpose of trying to get access to your communications?
Oh, none other than pressure and to try to spin it in her favor. I mean, what's so disturbing about it is they already have my correspondence. She has it through other means. And from what I've been told by my lawyers, from their lawyers, yeah, we have it. We just want to cross-check it to make sure it's the same. And it's like, excuse me? Like, you already have the correspondence. And as a non-party journalist, like, you know, you have to exhaust and put the pressure on the other ways to get it. You don't get to just have extra copies just cause.
Yeah,
that's not how that works.
Has this made sources hesitant to talk to you now?
Well, I mean, not yet. I mean, the ones who know me. Like, people I've spoken to are confident and know I'm not going to give up. Like, I'll get thrown in contempt before I give this up. I'm taking it to the 11th Circuit Appeals, and I'll take it to the Supreme Court if I have to. Even if this case is over and she drops, I have to keep this going, just because I can't have that. What you just said, people be worried that, oh, he's not a journalist. Oh, this or that. Like, of course I'm going to get that fixed and adjusted. Technically, like, there's some people, oh, it's not that big of a deal because it's just this thing, but it is. There's a legal ruling that now says I'm not a journalist, that any other celebrity or thing that can be used now against them.
It sets precedent.
And so, yeah, that's what's really scary about this. It's a legitimate problem. And even beyond my issue, like, I genuinely am just frustrated now. It's on my shoulders of, I don't want to hurt any other journalist, independent or digital. I don't, especially here in Florida. I don't want to now be like, oh crap, sorry everybody, I put it out there and now I lost it for us all. Like, I don't know, you don't know me that well, but don't you think I do news? Like, don't I think I qualify on the burden of news? I feel like I've earned that over the years with my Johnny Depp coverage, interviewing the man himself, like our Britney Spears coverage, our lawyers that come on. Like, I'm not just some guy who's just talking about crap. And sometimes we gossip just like you guys do and have fun with it. but we call it what it is. And when we investigate, we do documentaries, we do work. Like I'm to think that my level, my platform could be taken as, no, you're not a newspaper. You're not a radio network. So technically you're a little more than a YouTube store with a merch store on your website. I mean, that's blatantly false. We have a member-based website that you can sign up to and get exclusive content and our documentaries and journalism. So it's frustrating because I feel like she didn't, I mean, she admitted it. I'm trying to be respectful because I don't want, I'm not trying to just do a tour calling out the judge, but she admitted it in the beginning. Like, look, I'm not familiar with all this. And I was like, okay, great. And I expected another hearing before this order because that's what she said would be next. If she had questions on either how digital news works, right, or how, all this stuff, or even the case itself. This Blake Lively case on the docket has over 1,000 entries, dude. Like, it's insane the intricacies and webs and spin that's happening. So it's just frustrating that I don't feel like I got justice or my case heard. And then, I mean, I don't want to keep going on when you ask your questions, but like the burden, dude, like the burden is real. Like, they expected me out of nowhere just because Blake demanded it as a non-party, and I'm not a defendant. Everyone online's like, there's a lot of people, haters, and trying to like, he's he harassed her and now he's getting sued. I'm not getting sued. I'm not. There's no defamation here. This is me and my sources who gave me information, who spoke in confidence. They want to know who they all are, and they want the whole private exchange, all of it.
Yeah, so it's not even a lawsuit against you. It's merely an intimidation tactic to head this stuff off the pass and prevent it from happening again. And I do look, when we met the first time, we were talking about approaches to YouTube, and we were talking about like what we do on our channel most of the time is we go through the headlines and we have some fun discussing what's going on in the news that day, which is its own style of show, right? That's a variety show. When you were talking about your approach to media, you were talking about it's a deep dive. We're going into these cases. We're investigating what's going on. We're looking for information. We're trying to figure out the truth. What is that if not journalism?
Well, dude, and I would argue you guys are more than you're giving yourself credit. Like, the reality is, like, what defines a journalist it's a fair question to have, right? But it's like, to me, if you look up the definition, and specifically, I'll read you the Florida definition, right?
Okay.
Professional journalist means a person regularly engaged in collecting, photographing, recording, writing, editing, reporting, or publishing news for gain or livelihood. Now it continues, but like right there, that's you, that's me, that's a lot of people, right? Now it continues, who obtain this information sought while working as a salaried employee of or independent contractor for a newspaper, a news journal, a news agency, a press association, wire service, radio or television station, network, or news magazine. So once you get into the definitions of, well, who do you work with or where, that's where things get hairy, right? Because it's like, I would consider myself a network.
Yeah, that was going to be...
look up the definition of a network.
That was going to be my question.
How are we not networks, right? You too.
Yeah, the first question I had, like, network seemed to be the one out of all of those that fit the best with all of that. But like I said, the law very rarely catches up to modernity that fast because it moves so slowly, and that leaves a lot of people in the lurch. I mean, that's going on right now with stuff with like anything revolving, like, say, revenge porn and stuff like that, and laws like that. It takes a lifetime for those laws to catch up with just how awful some things can be done online, and it feels like it's going to get worse over time, and it really does favor those with the money to drown people in lawsuits, to drown people in legal motions, and a lot of the people, just by virtue of not being connected to a large-scale network or station, means that you're automatically David fighting Goliath, because back in the day, you'd have to take on the newspaper, and those newspapers would fight, tooth and nail for their sources and their reporters, because it's what their credibility was based on. But now with citizen journalism and independent journalism, they're going out there sometimes with just a microphone and a camera, and they're reporting what they see, but they don't have that system that used to back them up. And that's a scary thing when you're somebody who, I mean, your channel has almost 1 million subscribers, which is amazing, but that's not the same thing as having the New York Times with a legal department whose whole job it is to fight for their clients.
No, I'm glad you said all that. You're spot on. And it's like, these rules should be supporting us, like exactly the independent people who can't afford those big New York Times law firms, right? And you'll notice when I read the definition, it didn't say must have several years of journalism school. It didn't say you have to have an MBA or follow this program, right? It doesn't say any of that. Like, so it's defining it by your employer of or independent contractor of, and that's where things, that was a different thing back then. We didn't have the internet. Not everyone could just jump up and do it. You had to go make your own newspaper, which you could do, right? And then you'd be a journalist. So it's like, to me, to ignore the fact, okay, so YouTube's not is a platform, right? It's not a thing. So this idea, like, every major news outlet is on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like this judge, little more than a YouTube channel. Like, that's just, I'm sorry, it's just ignorant to how technology and new media works. So is that a little more than a Substack? Little more than a, you could go through so many other places that, to me, contain real journalism. And I think she just did a massive, huge disservice. And I think went against the First Amendment. And honestly, there was a lot of drama. It doesn't matter. Like, in the actual order, there's some. She makes a lot of, they were late on things and they were too. It's not fair or true the way she presents that. You can tell she was really hung up on the definitions.
When she was saying they were late, when she was saying they were late on things, what was she talking about?
Well, she's saying that we didn't have our privilege log in time, which we were supposed to have right away. And I'm glad you brought it back, because I want to talk about burden. Yeah. Like, so you imagine pop culture crisis just got subpoenaed. I need every time you've talked. What's something you've talked about a lot? What's your most popular thing you hate right now?
Gosh, what we talk a lot about Sabrina Carpenter on this. I mean, okay. I'm talking a lot about Warner Brothers
Sydney
Discovery.
Sweeney, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. I'm talking a lot about the Warner Brothers Discovery sale to Netflix right now.
So imagine you said something about a source to Warner Brothers. You had an insight. You provided it. Okay, we need every time you've mentioned Warner Brothers or the word Warner or any of these Warner Brothers titles. You have like a list of 30 keywords, and now you got to go through your Signal chat, your Telegram, your WhatsApp, your emails, multiple emails, your cell phone. Like, I hope your head and every viewer is starting to calculate the burden of having to go through all those things per keyword. And remember, I'm a non-party who's not done this. Now, I didn't know how to hire a third-party sort of person to create the privilege log, which she expected, and Blake's team flippantly said it's a couple $1,000. The lawyers are clearly overcharging, but that was all lies, not true. After the judge had trouble with what we thought was a proper privilege log, I went and got them quoted, dude. They cost $30,000 to make. Like, that's just the starting point of estimate. Like, I'm supposed to drop 30 grand to appease Blake Lively's request to go through all of my emails and correspondence to tell her every time the word Blake has been mentioned. Yeah. Can you imagine the burden of what that was to compile? So you can imagine, like, as someone who doesn't create privileges logs all the time, it wasn't exactly to the specifications that she gave. In fact, I think I over-delivered, which maybe was part of the problem. But at the end of the day, there's literally like, there's a handful of emails and things that don't really, I would call responsive. The fact that I even have to keep talking about this just is so sickening and frustrating to my rights and privilege, but it's kind of out there because she forced it. There's really one correspondence that kind of is relevant to the case, and it's all unrelated. Like, none of it is not, like, it's just news gathering. There's nothing retaliatory. There's no payment. And that's what's so frustrating about this. I don't mean to keep going on, but it's, as you can see, I'm livid and I'm passionate. Yep. What's so frustrating about this case is how many times Blake Lively and her team have moved the goalpost. Because it's like, if you really have followed it, like, why are we here? Why are you suing this guy? What did he actually do, right? And she has changed it and moved it, the length. It's still a retaliation campaign to this day. Like, suing her is a retaliation campaign. Like, it's so sick what her and Ryan have done and how far they've dug their heels. And, there's a lot of people who've gotten bored of the case and moved on. And I think it's tragic. Oh, you're obsessed. Like, this is so scary, man. The power that Ryan yields. I truly think it's a personal shot at me. I don't say that because I have a big head. Like, I denied it for the longest time, but it took others and my lawyers to be like, dude, they hate you. I'm like, what did you do to them? And I was like, well, I worked with Ryan once. And as I explained that story of Honest Trailers and him doing sort of that favor, and the more I've learned about how petty and insecure this guy is, I really think he's just enjoying the squeeze on me. I really think he's like, oh yeah, that guy, we can squeeze him, go and squeeze him. And that's just like terrifying, dude. Yeah.
And for somebody like him with the level of wealth that he's accumulated in his life, you can absolutely do that, right? And we do live in a society now, not to be a bit of a meme, but where legality being what it is you can just bury someone in lawsuits. And they'll never find their way up from that. And that's a fantastic way if you are getting pushback from people in a space that doesn't have that backing of a corporate structure to kind of snuff it out. And paradoxically, at the same time, that's where people are getting their news from now. Like you mentioned the news sources on YouTube. The funny thing is, not that long ago, basically, I think it was back in 2019, where basically YouTube said we're going to focus on authoritative news sources, and they started hyper promoting, MSNBC and Fox and CNN, all the ones that come from traditional cable stations or traditional news stations. But even with that, they haven't been able to really win out, despite taking up the front page of YouTube, despite being the ones that get all the promotion. People don't go to them anymore because they can't find any authenticity there. They get the echoings of a corporate structure, whereas now somebody who's taking all the risks, doing it on their own, has to bear the brunt of the pushback from somebody from the level of a Ryan Reynolds when they're getting pushback that they don't want. It's scary.
Yeah, you said it well. I mean, look, if she had, I had given a lot of, in my responses and my motions to quash, like I explained why I'm a journalist. Like I did. It's there. And she didn't address any of that in her conclusion. All she said is little more of a YouTube channel and then focused on descriptions and then went into Bird and other things that I thought was like, well, you didn't even really own the first thing. But what's just so troubling about it is like, if she had just said like, okay, well, you're a YouTube channel and technically this, if she had gotten to the nitty gritty of digital and like why my YouTube channel isn't enough, fine. But she clearly just didn't even understand what she was saying. Like she just didn't. She didn't look at the programming. She didn't look up. There's so many things, dude, that we shared in proof and affidavits that show we're an investigative place. So I would say it's a network. Heck, I would say it's a TV station, and I would say you are too, because TV is streaming. Like they if you go to certain definitions now, they accept if you're on the couch watching your phone, you're watching TV.
Yeah.
Like, and so TV is your phone. Well, that means anything on your phone can be TV. Any programming on your phone. YouTube is neck and neck with Netflix as competition goes.
Yeah,
this
really
idea
right now, YouTube is Netflix's only competition.
Yeah,
or I should
sleep.
say,
I always remember Netflix said their biggest competition is sleep because they got to keep you awake. But yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah. So what is next? Like, what's the next path forward?
Well, I'm doing the tour. I mean, we're raising money for the funds and stuff, but so you can learn all about it at my website, Popcorn Planet. Remember, it's ED. It's Popcorned Planet. Yeah. People are like, it's Popcorn Planet. It's popcorned, like scorched earth, which I'm going right now in our appeal. But you can go to Popcorn Planet and learn more. The release is there in our newsfeed, and there's a link. We lost. That'll go to our Give, Send, Go. Because look, it's expensive. I don't like begging for money. I was doing well. It was fine, but man, these lawsuits have been, it's been brutal. And it takes away from the day job. So I haven't been able to post or put as much day to day to go have to worry about all this now again. And now this appeal fighting. And so thank gosh for our community. I'm very lucky there. And we've had some amazing support. People can support there, but we are appealing. What could really help is that's why I'm doing the tour is I want to connect with, free speech advocates or groups. Like we're in touch with the ACLU, trying to make that happen, and some other sort of free speech places. Luckily I've gathered a lot of Rolodexes of lawyers and friends, and anywhere I go, I'll talk. I said, I'll go on any channel, please have me on, because if I can hit somebody who has a contact at the right place to get us ahead of the line, hopefully we can get an amicus brief or something else, or just a little bit of advice to help us insist that our appeal is top notch and gets taken seriously, because I can't lose this appeal. It's not even just for my own sake. I would be crushed if Popcorn Planet now ruins digital journalism in Florida. It would flip me out. So that next is appeal to the 11th Circuit, Supreme Court if we have to, being held in contempt if I have to. I'm not giving up the source. And I'll reveal this. I think I've already done it before. Like at an early point in this, she's like, just tell us the source and we'll drop it. Just tell us the source, we'll drop it, Andy.
Oh, gosh.
And I said, no.
Yeah.
Even my lawyers at the time, like, dude, they're going to find out. Just give them the source. Like, just tell them.
No, that ruins your reputation. Like that harms you.
Source. Yeah. And I do wonder if some of the other people who haven't had to face it, like Perez and I did, if they took that deal. I don't know. Yeah. But I didn't take that deal, and I'll hold on to it. And so while I'm getting this seemingly bad angle in press, I hope the fact that I've stood so firmly in refusing to give up my source will only help me in the long run, is what I'm hoping out of this. And that is, selfishly part of my recovery tour as well, to just make it clear to everybody, I don't give up sources. I never will. I never did. Even if this judge deemed otherwise, she never got it. She never will. If it comes out legally through them, well, then that's fine. That's out of my hands, and that's how the process works. But as a journalist, which I really firmly am and believe, I'm not giving up a source ever. I can't, or my livelihood is dead. Even though we have fun sometimes gossiping and talking about things on our channel too, when we report the news, and deep dives in these cases and stuff, it's imperative that the audience can trust us and feel like we're being transparent and fully there.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.